So I think we're live. So here we go. Welcome to Thursday. Hope yesterday was awesome. Really, really cool. Great. Perfect. Hope tomorrow's 20 times better than yesterday. But we're going to talk about today. Here's what I want to talk about: living an inspired life. Because I think it's hard. I think the default is to move to safety, avoid embarrassment, avoid failure, avoid breaking bones. I don't know, whatever. Um, but I think that's boring, and I think it sucks, and I think it keeps you from living your best life. So I want everybody to live an inspired life. Now, can you be inspired all the time? Yes, maybe, probably. I don't know. You should try to be, though, for sure. And I'll give you an example here. Mark's moving around. All right, here it is. All right. I'll give you an example. Well, here, first I want to say this. Here's what you're going to do. Choose first thing, because it's not a choice. I think the natural inclination is, like I said, safety, security, all that, which is not very inspirational. So you have to choose to see inspiration first. Okay. And I'll give you an example. Think of a baby, a toddler. I saw this kid. I think we must have been in the airport or something. And he was trying to stand and walk. Right. We've all seen these kids, right? They get up on shaky legs, right? And then they fall back right down on their rump, right? But they're not disappointed. They're not embarrassed. They're not worried. They get back up and they keep trying again, and they fall. Mm-hmm. Right? Sat and watched this kid. I remember watching him getting up, falling, getting up, falling. Yeah, I found myself rooting for him. I'm like, come on, man. This kid is inspired to walk. He wants to walk. This kid's going to freaking walk, right? In this airport right here as I'm watching him. And sure enough, he got up there and he took, one or two steps and he fell down again. But he was doing his thing. I found myself, like I said, cheering him on, and I was inspired. He inspired me, which goes to my next thing here. You want to choose to be inspired or to see inspiration, then you got to choose to be inspired. Because oftentimes, now the kid's going to get into all kinds of stuff. What a nightmare for the parents and, whatever. That's a natural thing, I think. Better put up safety things on every door. Don't let that kid out anywhere, blah, blah, blah. Now he's walking. It's right. And it's safe. It's secure. It's all those things, right? We don't want to get our kids hurt. We don't want any of that stuff. But golly, that is at some, and I don't know, is that what we teach our kids right off? They start wanting to stand up and walk. They start wanting to do things. They're always smiling, right? Until they're hungry or tired or whatever. But when they're not, they're giggling and smiling. When do we work that out of them, right? Most people I see these days are in a state of catatonic nothingness or mad.
John, I saw a father who, when his son was just starting to run and everything, he'd say, "You're gonna fall, you're gonna fall," and it killed me because I had to sit there and be quiet because it wasn't my kid.
Yeah, of course he's gonna fall, but you know what? He's gonna get back up.
Yeah, right? It's not the worst thing.
But we beat it out of him. We get it beaten out of us. I don't know. Maybe it's I'm guessing, and I don't know. I'm not smart enough for this kind of stuff, but I'm guessing it's nature's way of making the species survive. Give us enough gumption to go out and do something, but not so much that we're going to get eaten by a lion, or whatever the case may be.
Unless you jump in the lion pit like that woman did. I saw.
Right. Well, then maybe that's Darwinism going the other way, right? But here's one thing I've discovered in my life. I'm trying to be inspired, more inspired, and so I'm looking for inspirational things in little kids in airports. Unlike maybe Michael Jackson, different story. But I don't know why I pick on Michael Jackson. He can't fight back. So, anyway. Anyway, so anyway, look for inspiration somewhere, right? Look for the ant carrying 80 times its weight somewhere. Look for whatever. Look for the person that can't see but hears magic. Whatever the case may be, right? Those people are inspired, and I've been inspired by them. The thing is, think about this too for a minute. Inspired people, they're what? They're fun, right? Everybody wants to be around somebody who's fired up, ready to do something. You want to be part of what they're doing. And they're determined. Those kids falling on their butts, getting up, they're determined. They're motivated, and it's exciting. I've found inspired people are grinders. They're doers. They show up day after day. It's raining out, and they're like, thank God it's raining, right? It's sunny out, and they're like, thank God it's sunny, because it doesn't matter to them. They find the inspiration in the rain. They find the inspiration in the sun. They find the inspiration in the scar, the scab, the wound. It's just, those are the people, right? How about uninspired people? What are they? Simply put, they're uninspiring.
Yeah.
Who wants that? Who wants that? So what we do in our daily lives can be mundane, can be boring, calling people, whatever, talking to people, whatever. They hang up, they don't answer, they don't open the door, whatever. That can be, like I said, boring, mundane, monotonous, brutal, scary. Maybe they're not going to like me. Maybe they're going to call me names. Maybe they won't, something this. So we don't do it. We take the safe route, and we don't have stuff. We don't live the life that we could, maybe should live. And that's uninspired. Mm-hmm. Inspiring is, knocking on the door and having somebody answer and say, can you help me? Well, that's why I'm here. I literally had somebody tell me in a listing appointment saying, I think you're going to sell my place. Damn right. Right. And that's cool. That's cool. So, Mark, tell me about inspiration as it relates to you.
Yeah. So when I think about inspiration, I go to the root word of that, which is to be inspirited. And there is something, I think, spiritual in the inspiration. And I just pulled up real quickly, not to be a preacher, but there's a verse in the scriptures that talks about the spirit, and it says the wind blows where it wishes. And you hear the sound of it, but you don't know where it's coming from and where it's going. And that's kind of one of those moments is you can't always see the wind, but you can see the effects of the wind. And it's those moments where you're seeing that child. That is life. And that's an inspired. It's a spiritual moment when you have eyes to see the movement of that wind of God in that moment, and it fills us. And that's the whole thing is we've got to practice catching inspiration. Like we've got to practice slowing down and looking at the movement of the wind. And if we don't slow down and reflect and meditate and contemplate, or just open our eyes to the movement of life.
Let's talk about this for a minute, right?
Yeah.
It takes work to be inspired, right? You get up in the morning, maybe you got this overall umbrella of inspiration going, but not every day you're going to wake up at a 10 ready to take on the world. Are we in agreement on this? Mm-hmm. So you got to figure out how to inspire yourself in the morning. And if that's training yourself to look out at the hummingbird and the feeder with his wings going a million miles, is that what it takes you to go on? Maybe you need to read a book. Maybe you need to watch a video. Maybe you need to listen to a podcast. Maybe you need to tune in here. Something. Figure it out. Do something that lights your fire, right?
Well, and I think that's it, is you've got to practice the discipline of being still, calming your mind, calming your soul. If you don't ever have any margin, if the first thing you do, you're scrolling through Facebook, you're doing this or that, and you're running, you don't train your eyes and your ears to hear the inspirited, the inspirational, and we're not moved. We miss it. Now the wind's always around us, but we miss it. And I think that is one of those winning the days, is starting off something that, whatever that may be, that tunes your eyes and your heart to that inspiration.
Mm-hmm. Destiny, how about you? What are you doing?
Well, I think I've become purposeful in being around people who inspire me.
Okay, that's a good one.
We got our own office space now, the team does, and we go in there almost all week, and we just sit back there, and we'll be in there all day making our calls and doing our legion and bouncing ideas off of each other. And it's so inspiring to hear when one of us has a great call, and we'll cheer each other on, and then somebody else gets to hear another great call. And I think just being around people who inspire you and also who you can inspire is key. So being purposeful about being around good influence is important.
So good. So good. Because there are many days that I'll come in here and I'll get my fire lit. Somebody sitting there with those little sparks getting me going. Mm-hmm. They don't even know it a lot of the times. And it doesn't take much, right? Because I do a lot of things. I do a lot of reading, a lot of watching, a lot of listening that I would call maybe tinder that can be lit up fairly quick and easy. It's always there at the surface. And it doesn't take much of a spark to get me, in the front yelling to my 300 charge, right? And I like that. Good job. That was a good answer. How about you, Andrew? What are you doing?
This kind of makes me think, I don't know what I've looked at recently on social media, but something that keeps coming up is like the GOAT for basketball. I keep getting these videos with LeBron, Michael, Kobe, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson. And what you're seeing is that they all were willing to risk failure. They're willing to take the last second shot. And, I think that as an agent, you need to be willing to do that and not just sit back and wait for things to happen for you, but to get out there and actually do things. And they got good at what they were doing by practicing. All goes down to thousands and thousands of extra shots and time on the court practicing and doing the drills and the basics and the fundamentals.
So what happens? What do people get embarrassed? Is that what it is?
I think that nobody wants to be the one that misses that last second shot. But these are people that were willing to overcome that, and they had so much self-confidence that they were willing to do that.
Isn't that weird?
Who really wants the ball? Who wants the ball at the end of the game? Only the best of the best. Everyone else, they're like,
even
I don't want to miss it, rather than I want to win it and be the best.
So right.
Well, and you think about the thousands and thousands of practice shots that they're willing to bet on themselves.
Mm-hmm. And our practice shots are what, role playing?
It's role play.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
It's also, here's the cool thing about real estate. When you realize when you're lead generating, the strikes don't count against you. I mean, you're unlimited in your conversations except for the limitations you put on yourself. You're the only governor on your engine. And so you can go to bat every single day and learn from every swing to the point that you're now so dialed in, you go, oh, that's an objection. Let me handle it. Been there, done that.
I'm just trying to think, because this isn't my natural inclination is this is going to work. I start with, I'm going to get what I get. I know I'm going to fall. I know I'll get up and I'll probably fall again. And I'll yell and scream and I'll keep going. I start from that. So I don't know that most people, matter of fact, I'm pretty confident most people don't. I think it goes to, see, I told you they weren't going to list. Hey. See, I told you this deal wasn't going to work. I knew that's uninspired.
Self-fulfilling prophecy.
Let me give you an example. I'm selling a dashboard cam on Facebook Marketplace. And this guy, of course, said, is this still available? And I said, yes. Are you interested? I am. How far are you from Mobile or Pascagoula? I'm in Destin. Dang, that's my luck. And it's like, whoa. That is, he shut himself down. He didn't say, well, can we arrange it? He never asked anything beyond it. It's he is a rudderless ship.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That just says, I got to go wherever the wind is. Dang, that's my luck. And I read that to the agents I was coaching.
Think about that versus, cool, I'm only here in Mobile. We should be able to make something happen.
Yes, let's everything way. Right? That's uninspiring. That's saying I accept instead of going, hey, there is a way. It's instructive though.
If you were to sell, where would you or when would you sell? Not until next fall. Dang, I need something now. Rather than, holy cow, next fall, that'll be here before you know it. What should we do first to get ready? It's a whole different vibe, a different mindset.
Yep.
You're living an inspired life, excited about what's coming versus, oh, dang. Such a difference.
Mhm.
And I
But
think
too
that's
many
the
people are in the oh, dangs.
it's the wind blows. That's the spirit of life.
Mhm.
And we get to put our hand on the rudder, and there's this collaboration between the wind and the rudder. And it's if all we have is rudder and no wind, we're in trouble. And that's the beauty of life. That's the beauty of inspiration. It's the wind, and we've got to have our hand on the right rudder, and those things come together to get us places.
Yeah. So again, you want to win the day, you got to be inspired. You
Mhm.
got, and that takes.
It takes something. He froze. But I think he'll come back around on this. But I mean, you think about that, is you've got to open yourself up to the inspiration
Mhm.
and seize that inspiration. That's
Mhm.
got to be the key there. What are y'all thinking on that as we wait for John to finish that? Lost power, can you close? Yes, I will close. John just messaged me. So he lost some power on his computer. That's okay.
I got inspired by a client that we just went under contract, but he told me, I used to ride my bike to work from Navarre every day. He was prior military. And then he said, I used to always say the rich people live in Holly by the Sea, and he was and I could see him kind of welling up with some emotions when we were walking through this house that they knew they were already under contract for. But he says, I never thought that I would be able to buy a $500,000 home here, and that inspired me, to say, there's a journey to get to this moment. And he took it, and to be able to look back at that and say, I used to say that rich people lived here, and now I'm here. And he's got a brand new Corvette. He doesn't have to ride his bike anymore, and so it's being receptive to other people's stories as well. I think is important.
Well, Destiny, you are in the big box. That means you're the host. So you're going to have to lead. The timing is all here. You get to know everything from here. So lead us on. Lead the conversation. Yeah.
No, I just think it's so important as agents, especially a newer agent, to allow yourself to be receptive to other people's stories, other agents, and be willing to learn and watch how others have grown and not try to rewrite the story. I think that's the biggest thing is sticking with those plans and those scripts and things that have already worked, and use that as your inspiration to achieve your goals.
Andrew, weigh in on that.
Just real estate, it's a numbers game, and you got to be willing to risk failure or risk the no, and just knowing that the more no's you get, it's going to lead to the yeses.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, John Martellotti says willpower is not on will call, and the reality is we've got to be prepared for these moments. We've got to put ourselves in the position. If we're going to win the day, and we're looking for inspiration, the infilling of that spiritual piece, and I'm not talking religion, but if you look at the root words of religion, it's religito, which is basically, I'm sorry, I'm a word geek. It's the reconnecting. It's the reconnecting, and we've got to reconnect to the beauty of life, those moments of glory, those moments that fill us and fuel us and blow us towards that goal. And I think a big part of that, if we're going to win the day, is take some time at the beginning of the day to unfurl your sails. Open yourself up to receive that wind. Open your eyes to those things, and that can come from books. Just take some time in the morning to read. That can fill your sails. Take some time to listen. That can fill your sails. Take some time to be around positive people in those environments. Like you said, Destiny, that will fill your sails. And then put your hand to the rudder or to something to steer that towards your goals. Anything that y'all have to say as we launch out to win the day?
I think we've covered it.
Got anything else?
I think that's it. I think you got it.
Excellent. Hey, we sure do appreciate appreciate y'all being here. John's power went out. That bumped him out. That leaves us here with you. And here's what I'm going to ask you. John gets up every day with you on his mind. John John goes to sleep thinking about what he wants to say to this crowd. And he's got a depth of experience. He's been doing this 20 years. He and his team have closed probably 1,500 plus, approaching $750 million in sales. And this is gold that he brings. And I know that's why I show up. That's why you show up. And we want to grow that audience of inspiration, of impact, of winning the day. So I'm going to ask you a favor. I want us to honor that commitment. John's been doing this now every single day for over a year. And what is committed to that is like it, comment, share, let others know about this so that more people can be inspired. And Kent, glad to see you're here. But with that said, we're going to call it a day. And I don't know that we can turn it off, but we'll figure out. I think if we all bail, the show ends. So anything in closing?
Nope.
You got it.
All right.
You'll have a great Thursday.
Bye, guys.
Take care. Bye-bye.